Good morning,
We're
everybody.
we're gonna
Welcome to
do
We
an
Have Something to
intro
Say. Sorry
promotional
about the
video
lateness.
now.
Huh? What's that?
Yeah, you know what I said? I said we're gonna do a intro video from now
I
on.
just noticed. I
Like,
just saw that. They keep adding new shit. So I mean, damn. Intro
I
video,
saw that
boy.
before. I was like, oh, we can do an intro video. Do like they
Intro
do
video.
on those news things where they stand there like this.
Yeah.
Look like they talk. Yeah, I'm
That
talking.
that would be funny. That would really be funny. Do an intro video. Um, it's a lot to talk about. Two things I want to talk about. The New York mayor's race. I think it's just absolutely phenomenal. And one thing I want to look at, I haven't looked at, I meant to look at before I came on air today, and see what the voter turnout was, because that's what
It was
that's
low.
the new
It was low.
that's the new narrative for the New York mayor's race. The narrative is that the voter turnout was low.
Yeah, it was low. But
And
we
yeah,
already knew it would be.
Yeah, but that's what they're using as the only reason that he won. And the fact that you had established Democrats come in at the last minute to try to make him lose and go for a 67-year-old man it's insidious, because what it tells you is power. And I say this all the time, those jobs, we could never imagine the perks that those jobs bring. You just can't imagine it. I can literally say to you, as somebody in this small position I am right now, that I get it, because it gives you access that you probably wouldn't have. People invite you to stuff that you probably wouldn't be invited to before. And it can be so addictive, right? It can be so addictive to want to gatekeep, to not be who you are, and to say, I'm going to keep all these contacts to myself. Like, I went to a meeting the other day. I never would have been invited to this meeting, right? By somebody who... Huh?
Hold on one second. I don't think we live yet. At least not on my Facebook thing. It's not showing up.
Let's see. I got it right here.
Not showing up live on mine.
Well, let's see. Let's do this. Let me go. Let me take off this one. Let me go here. Let's take off this one. Let's take off that one.
Let me see.
I'm gonna take off your YouTube and put it on Facebook. How about that? That's what's going on. It's now. Here we go. Okay, so now it should come up live on yours. To sit here and it should be live on yours now.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm gonna look.
Because it's saying it's live. Yeah, it's saying you're live on Kenneth's page.
Okay.
All right.
It ain't popped up on mine yet, on my phone
Let me see right quick. I'll tell you right quick if it's coming up on mine.
For those of you who are watching, we apologize. We're experiencing sort of technical difficulties.
We always do with him. Yeah, you're live. It's live on your page.
It don't show up on my phone.
Yeah, it's telling me right now. Kenneth Blackman is live. It's telling me right now. And you just got one viewer, so we are live. That's probably Marion. So what I was saying, a viewer. You got one viewer on your page. All our Facebook viewers come from your page.
Yeah, no, that's why I was saying that's why I said it didn't show up on mine. That's why I couldn't figure out what was going on. But go ahead, sir. We're listening.
You know how glitchy your shit's been lately, so I don't know when you get that shit fixed. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Not my phone. Computer, yeah.
So what I was saying is, it's amazing to me that you got all these older people, and then as of yesterday, Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer haven't got on board with his mayoral candidacy. as of yesterday.
Chuck Schumer.
Chuck Schumer. And they're both from New York.
Well, you know, this is something I really.
You glitching again.
We won the primary, the Democratic candidate. Damn. Can you hear me now? Is it good?
Yep. I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, he's the Democratic candidate. Whether they come out and endorse him or not, he's still the candidate, and they're gonna endorse him. We need to stop worrying about who endorses who. That's something that we keep worrying that holds us back when we do that. Like a few years ago, when I had thought about running for office, I talked to somebody, and and I was trying to get their feel for things, and he said, "Well, I can't endorse you against the other candidate," and I told him, and it was kind of arrogant of me to say that, but I firmly believe that. I said I wasn't asking for your endorsement; I was asking for your advice. That's all I care about. Whether you have one vote, period. So whether or not somebody endorses somebody, they only got one vote. They don't have multiple votes. People are going to come to you. People are going to flock to him, whether he gets an endorsement for Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries or not. Nobody give a damn about who they endorse. I mean, think about this. I mean, if this were Trump supporters, yeah, they would care. But the average person, especially Democrats, don't care about that anymore. We don't care who endorses who. That's so 2020, as they say, or 2019. That was the last time an endorsement from somebody big caused somebody to win an election. And that was Jim Clyburn, who came in and endorsed Joe Biden, and that pushed everything over. And that was in South Carolina. People in New York don't care about Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer.
Do you know that you are a picture perfect definition of and emblematic of the problems that the Democrats have? And you know why I say that?
Because I'm a very handsome guy, very intelligent. I see the picture. I agree with you. I am picture perfect.
No. I agree with you. There's a lot of handsome, pretty Democrats. I agree with that. You're not gonna get no argument from that. The problem is that it's such a big tent that we can't get on the same page, because you say that endorsements don't matter, and I say that no, everybody has their own constituency. Hakeem Jeffrey has a constituency. Chuck Schumer has a constituency. And the problem with the Democrats is they refuse to get behind one another and say, we're going to pull our constituencies as the best we can onto the same page with a major victory. I don't care if the voter turnout was low. Dude had 1% back in January, 1%. And he had a campaign literally ran on social media. Whereas, and one of his campaigns which went viral was when he came out and said, I'm going to ask y'all to do something that no politician would do. Stop sending me money. I got enough. I raised $25 million. I don't need any more money. And the fact that he beat somebody that they tried to get behind, which was Mario Cuomo, who's 67 years old, 67. And the dude has a unique background because, everybody knows I have my feelings about certain minorities when it comes to my group. But he was born in, I think, Kenya, Uganda. So he has a different feel for people, I think. The fact that you have all these people coalesce, the enemies of my enemy is my friend strategy coalescing around this says something about those people that we just don't realize. And it says some of those people are they don't want to lose the power. So now they're considering backing Eric Adams.
Who?
Hakeem Jeffries, all of them. They're hedging.
I don't believe that bullshit. Come on now. Damn well they ain't gonna support no Eric Adams.
There you go.
Seriously.
I don't know why you say that.
There's no way in hell they would support Eric Adams.
Okay.
No, okay. I say that because Eric Adams, one, registered Republican. He's a Trump sycophant. Trump, matter of fact, they said, and this is something I didn't know, but it kind of makes sense. when he was in office, stop and frisk, that the thing where they would stop innocent people and frisk them and all that, which was a big thing during the Giuliani and Bloomberg administrations. He brought it back. It had already been ruled by the Supreme Court that it was illegal. Well, at least by the courts. I don't know if it made it all the way to the Supreme Court, but it's by the court system that it was illegal, and they had stopped it. He brought it back. Nobody likes Eric Adams. Dude, I'm serious. They don't like that motherfucker in New York.
So
let's say this. Let's say this. People, the majority of New Yorkers, real New Yorkers, don't like Eric Adams.
Until they don't like somebody else worse.
Why wouldn't they like this dude? Because this is one thing that he said he did, and I listened to what's that black station on Sirius XM. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, I listened to them, and one of the things they were saying, well, he didn't go to any of the black media. He went to Hot 97, which is a big radio station in New York. And he did the Breakfast Club, which is bullshit, but everybody does that shit. And that's all he did that's all he did during this campaign. And one of the things that I said, despite having no money or very little money, well, I guess $21 million, I guess is enough money, I guess. But despite being a relatively unknown, he still won. He beat somebody from the establishment. He beat him easily. So you really believe that one of the most unpopular mayors in recent times is going to beat somebody who who's a Republican? He's a Republican now. Going to beat somebody who has been elected by Democrats, and in this New York City, it's probably like a 70%, 80% Democratic city. You think he's gonna win?
I'm just always, the last 3 months, I've just always been amazed that you keep using that statement. I'm not gonna lie to you. You keep saying stuff like you believe that, and I keep saying to you over and over and over again, bro, everything I believed has been turned on. Let me finish. Everything that you and I believe, that we believe over the last year, has been turned upside down on its head. I didn't believe before last year that America would be complicit in a genocide of this magnitude, and three of them. I didn't believe that America would sit back and watch buildings come down on people. It doesn't matter whether I think they're on my side. I just didn't think that we had the humanity like that. I didn't believe that. I didn't believe, let me finish. Up until yesterday, I didn't believe that the Supreme Court would rule the way they ruled yesterday on birthright citizenship. Whereas you said a month ago, wait a minute, you said a month ago, you said the Supreme Court never ever compromised birthright citizenship. They did it yesterday. I didn't. So listen to my point. All I'm saying is when you say, Leonard, you really believe that? I have to go, yes, I do believe that. I do believe that people, I no longer have the faith in people that I thought I had. My beliefs are centered around, my beliefs were centered around really, if you pull up that quote, if any of y'all get a chance, pull up before he won, he was in a debate for the mayoral campaign. And they asked everybody on that stage, what's your first place you're going to go if you win? And everybody on that stage from New York said, I'm going to Israel, including the black people. And he was the only one to say, I'm not going to Israel. I'm going to the Bronx. I'm going to Harlem. I'm going to Manhattan. I'm going to these places. Those are the people that I represent. I don't represent people in Israel. That's what he said. And they called him anti-Semitic for that. So, and because they were saying that it's 150,000 people who have dual citizenship who live in New York and Israel, and that's what they were trying to swing that vote. I don't give a damn about that. He said what I believe, which is I'm going to the Bronx. So to sit here and make the statement of do you believe it? I cannot believe that. How should I put it? So all I'm addressing is when you say, Leonard, you really believe that? Yeah, I believe it. because they done showed it to me. I can't do anything but believe in what you show me your actions are. Do I think they'll go for Mayor Adams? I know this as of yesterday. As of yesterday, Mayor Adams has now raised, as of yesterday, a gobsmack of money from the business elites who were against him just last week. From Bill Ackman, who I can't fucking stand.
Bill Ackman is the one that said Trump should revoke his citizenship.
Yeah, you know.
Mondami's citizenship. So I was gonna say this. Well, we'll get into it. We'll get into the other part, what you said about the 14th Amendment. We'll get into that in a few minutes. My thing is, Eric Adams is despised by New Yorkers, period.
So they tell us.
They don't like him. No, not they. People who, the people who live there, the people on the ground. We ain't talking about the media. People on the ground. They can't stand him. They hate him because he basically sold out New Yorkers, especially black people. They really and truly don't like him. And it's so funny because I was in New York when Eric Adams first came on the public scene. Long before he became a politician, he was the head of a black police union called the Guardians, and he was anti-establishment then. And when he became Brooklyn Borough president, I didn't know he had progressed that far. I was like, okay, he's doing something. He has the right mindset. He became mayor and he just lost his damn mind. And people recognize that.
Kenneth,
now, the guy who won,
look what Marion said. I'm gonna ask Harriet's question. Go ahead. Look what Marion said. That's a hell of a damn inflammatory statement.
It's not 7 boroughs, it's 5 boroughs. And the thing is, one thing he can give. Now, those are pie in the sky promises. I guarantee, I know that. Those are pie in the sky promises. But it's just the fact of somebody actually saying, I want to try and do that.
Thank you. Let me piggyback that.
I want to try and do it. Not that whether or not he can get funding for it and all of that to increase housing, give free housing, the public transportation. I don't see it, but just the fact that that's in the discussion. You got somebody who's even if Eric Adams comes in, they get a debate. Eric Adams comes up and says all this stuff. Hey, that's pie in the sky and all that. At least this guy's coming with some ideas. He's not going with the same old. And one of the things that this is a universal problem in the United States. Housing is a universal problem. I remember 20-something years ago, 97, when I first moved to New York City, for a 1-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn, in Park Slope, it was $1,000 for that apartment. Now, $1,000 don't seem, well, really and truly in today's market don't seem like much, but imagine how much that same apartment would cost now in Park Slope, Brooklyn. If it was $1,000 then, it's probably about $3,000 now a month. People can't afford to live in these places. And let's just be real. Park Slope was not the best neighborhood. Not even close. It wasn't a ritzy neighborhood. It had just become gentrified. That's one thing that happened. It was starting to become gentrified. That's why it is. But these aren't like straight up, oh man, Beverly Hills type neighborhoods. Not to say that those are the best neighborhoods either, but paying $3,000 for an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment, is ridiculous. And somebody's got to stand up to it. Somebody's got to do something about it. We just can't. And he's even talking about how subsidized housing, rent control housing is skyrocketed. How that happened, I don't know, because rent control housing is supposed to be whoever got the apartment back in, let's say grandma got the apartment back in 1982, and the rent was $200 a month, it's gonna stay $200 a month as long as the apartment's in grandma's name. How it's going up, I don't know. Maybe landlords are getting around that somehow. I don't know. But these are issues that resonate with average Americans.
Not only that,
even if he can't, okay, go ahead.
Let me piggyback on that. Marion, income inequality in the country is so out of whack. So out of whack. I was listening to Scott Galloway, and he was talking about how many billionaires there were in the country like 25 years ago. He said it was 500. There are now 2,500, which what he's saying is you are concentrating wealth in the hands of the few. And what Mondavi said was, hey, a 1% tax on the richest people in New York, a 1% tax. We're talking about rich people, ultra wealthy people would pay for this. And you said that people voted for the dole? No, people are voting for unfairness. They're not voting for the dole. They're voting for unfairness. They're voting for a small amount of people trying to squeeze everybody else to make their pockets bigger. And they can't, it's like, how much of a good life do you want to live? Like Scott Galloway says, you can't, happiness is not found. There's no more happiness in $10 million and $1 billion. There's nothing else you can buy. And that's what this guy is basically saying. So I don't know if that was meant to be inflammatory. I know how you control me and Kenneth from time to time. But if you're being squeezed out of New York and you want to stay in New York, it's the same problem everywhere. Rich people still have to have people to teach their kids, to drive the bus, to do the jobs that they're not going to do. And those people have to have some place to live. And they shouldn't have that much oversized influence over the rest of it. The 1% should not have that much oversized influence over the goddamn 90 to 99%. Particularly when the 99% like me, you, and Kenneth don't have a problem with a MF for making $1 billion. I don't have a problem with you making $1 billion. I got a problem with you saying I should be worth more than 100 billion if it means that people can't eat. Like, why? I got a problem with Jeff Bezos saying I'm on a $50 million wedding. Okay, no problem. It ain't hurt you none. You making $50 million a day, but you shouldn't do it to the detriment of a poor white kid in West Virginia who can barely get a noun later. I got a problem with that. And so, like Kenneth said, so when you say stuff like, and the answer Harry asked, do I think Mayor Adams could win in a political climate like this? I don't put shit past anybody anymore, because if you count the people that don't vote, count them out, and then you count the people, Republicans who get to vote, and you count how insidious these rich people could be. Because Bill Ackman is not just that same dude. He's the dude that ran the black lady out of Harvard. For what? Who still want to hang around and be cool with black people. If you know anything about Bill Ackman, go to his podcast. He loved hanging around black people. So I don't remember the book, Who Moved My Cheese? You don't have to live on an island. Nobody ever wants to live on an island. They think they do till they get on that island. They always want a boat to go to the mainland. They don't want to be on an isolated island. Yeah, it's so to piggyback off what Kenneth said, I don't have a problem with the guy saying that. It was a message that I tell you like this: the Democrats better come up with a message that wins. So we 6 months in. I keep telling people, I'm gonna say this over and over again. I'm gonna shut up, Kenneth. We only 6 months in. We got 3.5 more years of this shit. We see the damage what people could do in 6 months. It's one of the reasons why me and Kenneth keep going back and forth about who participates. We 6 months in. It's just a matter of time for it. And he said something, Kenneth, let me tell you, he said something about slavery being a why birthright citizenship came in yesterday. He blurted it out. Donald Trump did.
I know.
He blurted it out. He blurted it out, which for all of y'all colored folks and y'all friends who you won't go and talk to your friends who, I'm sipping my tea. He blurted it out yesterday. That was a slave era. What do you say? That was a slave era.
He said that was anyway, for slavery. Yeah, he said right. No. Basically, he said it was just for slavery. Now, right. This is that I looked at the 14th Amendment actually right before we came on. So I want that it's just for slavery. What it says, it literally says all persons born or naturalized in the United States. All persons born or naturalized in the United States. And it says something like including the formerly enslaved. Now, as I tell my students, that is one of the 3 Black amendments to the Constitution. That's one of the 3 Black amendments, 13th, 14th, and 15th. The 14th Amendment was not just, it mentioned slavery, and it was because of slavery, but it did not say just informally enslaved people. It literally says all persons born or naturalized in the United States. So what it said, and it said they're afforded all rights of citizenship. And you can't deny them their rights. That's what it says, including due process. Due process is a part of the 14th Amendment, which means that if you are accused of a crime, you have due process, which means you have to go to court, you have to have a trial, all of that. That's all a part of the 14th Amendment. Now, what I have a problem with, well, 2 things. One, the Supreme Court did not strike down birthright citizenship. It didn't strike it down. It didn't do that. It's been reported that they have, but what they actually did was lift an injunction that a lower court did, saying that you cannot that the president cannot end birthright citizenship. That's what it said.
And wait.
The 14th Amendment is still in place.
You got to add on what else it said. You're right. What it said was that no longer can those judges
the judges impose a nationwide injunction. Right. That's what it says. Judges cannot impose a nationwide injunction. Impose a nationwide injunction. And they referenced the 14th Amendment, his birthright citizenship. So what's going to happen with all of that? In every what do they call it? Every court in the country, somebody has to file, has to get an injunction for birthright citizenship now. So to keep birthright citizenship in place, to impose an injunction against Trump's thing. Basically, what they're saying is this. I'm trying to break it down as simple as possible. Every judge, and every court, there's every district court has to impose an injunction for this to be a nationwide injunction.
Right, they can impose one in their district, wherever they
their district, wherever their court district is, they can impose one there. So what the ACLU and other groups have to do, they have to go to every district, find somebody who wants to be a part of a suit, and file in that particular area, that particular court district. They have to do that every single one of them, and there's 95 different court districts. And find a judge, and the judge has to do it, has to set it up, impose an injunction. So the 14th Amendment is still in place. Contrary to what they're saying, it's still in place. And as I've said this before, no president, no court can overrule an amendment or the Constitution. They can't do it. Because the reason why you can't do it, one, you can't change the Constitution. An amendment is a modification of the Constitution. The only way to overrule an amendment is to create another amendment. And in order to do that, you have to have was it 60? It was 2/3, 67% of the 67% of the House of Representatives, 67% of the Senate, and then you have to have 67% of the states to ratify it. There's no Republicans don't have 67% of the don't control 67% of the House. They don't control 67% of the Senate, and they will not get 67% of the states to ratify this. So the 14th Amendment is still in place. The only thing is they have to, like I said, they have to go back to the courts each court district, go to a judge in one of those court districts and file a motion to get an injunction against Trump's what do they call that?
Executive
order ending birthright citizenship. That's what they have to do. And they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Period. They're going to do it. Because it has to be done. Supreme Court cannot overrule the 14th Amendment.
No.
Supreme Court's job is to interpret the 14th Amendment. What they did, they didn't interpret the 14th Amendment. They interpreted something about a nationwide injunction. Now, when that whole thing about one judge can initiate a nationwide injunction, when that started, I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know the history of that, and I don't know why I didn't look that up. But
it's been around.
I know it's been a while, been out there for at least 20 years or so.
Yeah, it's been around since the 1970s.
70s, okay. So
yeah, since the 1970s.
That's what they ruled on. So that's something that we need to. The whole people panicking, oh man, they're gonna end our citizenship. No, that's not what's going to happen, y'all. There's going to be an injunction. Different organizations are going to file on behalf of, and another thing that the Supreme Court did that is significant. They said that you cannot file on behalf of somebody, a case on behalf of somebody. You have to have a person that's actually that this is affecting. So, ending birthright citizenship, that could be anybody. Because basically what they're saying is, just because you're born in the United States does not mean that born or naturalized in the United States. Well, in this case, birthright. Just because you're born in the United States doesn't mean we can't kick you out the country, that we can't revoke your citizenship. So anybody can be represented in that case. Anybody. Every citizen of the United States has a right to sue because of that. Why do you think that they're doing? Why do you think that Kenneth, with all the stuff they're doing now?
I think what people are asking.
Hold on. What's?
I think
Harry, clarify your question for me.
I'm gonna clarify it for you. And then Stacy just came in. I think people are asking you. I keep telling you this. You keep talking as if we're in what we consider a normal situation, and they are trying to shock the system to do what they want the system to do. And even though the president cannot overrule the 14th Amendment, his executive orders, if enforced for a certain amount of time, and the Supreme Court says that they're enforceable, they aren't law, they're executive orders that they're treating like law. They're trying to shock the system so that the executive order takes precedence over the law. And if you have a Congress that is capitulating, because they're in cahoots with the president, because it's a small minority of men with constituencies, and they're capitulating, and they're making this law, and there's nobody pushing back on it. The people are not pushing back on it, and I tell you this every day. The only way that people can push back on it is one or two ways. You vote if we have the vote, if we have the right to vote, and in the big beautiful bill, they give him the right to suspend votes. Or you get out there and you have mass protests and you put your bodies on the line.
They don't give a fuck about no protest. Why do you keep saying protest?
Wait, where you going?
They just had 2 million people protest 2 weeks ago, and they still doing the same shit.
Wait.
No, ain't no way.
No, dude, that don't work. You got to listen. You're in the 50s. You were in a worse position.
Stop talking about the 50s.
No. Don't tell me.
Hold on, Leonard.
No.
Hold on. You keep listen. Hold on, Leonard. I'm not gonna let you keep going back to the 50s because you keep saying this stuff has never been done before.
I'm using it for a reference point.
I know, but that's not. But you can't use it as a reference for something that's never been done before.
You might not like it, but you got to at least listen to it. You can agree to
keep
disagree.
saying the same thing. You keep going back to the 50s.
But you
also keep saying, hold on. Leonard, no. You keep going back to the 50s, and then you turn around and say, we ain't never seen nothing like this before.
There's a reason. There's a reason I'm going back to the 50s. Listen to what the reason is.
I know the reason is. You can keep saying the reason.
No, you don't. No, you tell me what it is then. Since you want to talk, what's the reason?
You said the reason that was the blueprint. When we went out there and sacrificed our bodies, we changed, we moved the mountain, we changed things. But the problem is this. During the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, we shamed the government into doing what's right. We shamed them. That's what that was the thing for protest. The protest was to shame them and make them want to do the right thing. Now, they don't give a shit now.
Let me respond to that. Can I respond to that? Is that a no? Is that a no?
This is that
a no?
Times new things.
Is that a no? Is that a no? Can I respond to it? Yes or no? Here's the difference.
I said I'm listening.
Okay, so here's the difference.
Go ahead.
In the 50s, they were in a worse position than we're in right now. That nobody wanted to do that. Nobody wanted to get in the streets. Nobody wanted to do mass protests. None of those poor black people wanted to do any of that. That's the thing people don't get. Nobody wanted to do that. Nobody wants to get their ass kicked. Nobody wants to get shot. Nobody wants to get the dog hoses put on them. But the whole thing was, what choice do we have? So my point to you is, based on what you said, they don't care. You say we have the right to vote. Quite a few of us are trying to tell you, well, shit, for right now, we have the right to vote. So we think. They're literally trying to take that away. You don't know if people keep saying, wait for the midterms. I watched the civil rights attorney who I posted. I asked him to come on the show, who's literally broke down, okay, look, this is the shit they took away. Y'all think y'all gonna have this. I've been doing this all my life. You think you're gonna have this, but and he broke down what they took away in the Justice Department. You will not have the right, because now they want to take away your right to even protest. So if what you're saying is true, and I ask you this all the time, I'm a reasonable person. Give me my alternative. What is my alternative?
Okay, Leonard.
I know you didn't ask the question. Don't give me negative.
Hold on. You keep saying go out there and mass protest. They have demonstrated that they don't care about mass protesting. They don't care. They don't care. So what? If we go out there and mass protest, what exactly do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're going to do?
This is what I think. When you call people on the carpet and they have to look over their shoulders through because of a mass protest, they're going to vote what they think will make them safe. If the people will make these people think that they aren't safe physically, unfortunately, like, hey, don't think this is not going to affect you too. They will not vote the way they vote. They will not vote. If they think that they just can put your family in danger and they have no consequences to it through their policy making, and they're just going to answer to this small constituency, which is a bunch of billionaires, then they need to feel uncomfortable. The only way you make them feel uncomfortable, it's like having a million ants. At some point, you're going to get them ants off. And you're going to do what you got to do to get them ants off. And what I'm telling you is, you just said they'll never get rid of birthright citizenship. You got 3 people on watching this right now going, Kenneth, I don't know about that. Because just before yesterday,
so just because people are against me, that means I'm wrong?
They're asking you why you believe what you believe when you say they won't do it.
I told y'all the reasons why they cannot get rid of birthright citizenship. I said it. I literally said it. They cannot. This is the thing.
They aren't ruling about it.
Hold on. See, y'all, the thing is, y'all thinking that the 14th Amendment or any of these amendments is something, there's a workaround on this. There's not a workaround on these amendments. There's no
just
workaround in the Constitution. No,
What do
they
you
did
call
not.
that?
They
Wait a
lifted
minute.
a nationwide injunction. That's not a
Wait
workaround, Leonard.
Wait a minute.
The
What is
14th Amendment is still in place.
what,
It's not
what
a
is
workaround.
what is a workaround is this. How about this? Can we agree on this? What is a workaround is if I issue an executive order and I get all the major agencies that I control, ICE, Justice Department, Health and Human Services, the Army, I get them to follow my injunctions as opposed to following the Constitution, which is what they're doing. Because all these ICE agents are being unconstitutional because of the executive order. They're literally picking people up the street and not giving them habeas courses of due process because of the executive order. Right?
But
When
they
we
are
agree on
giving
that?
hold on. Initially, they weren't. They got caught when the Supreme Court said, hey, you got to bring these people back. You got to give them due process. They start giving them due process. So the due process, now they're picking up people. I didn't say they're not picking up people. Did not say that at all.
Which is unconstitutional,
They
right?
are picking up people. But now they are getting, no, actually it's not. It's not unconstitutional.
Kenneth, it is
Picking up people and taking them to court, picking up people who are here. Okay, ICE's job. What is ICE's job? Their main job. Even before Trump got in. What was it? What was their main job?
Can we do something right quick?
What was ICE's main job? What was their
to deport people, but those same people have due process. So can we
and that's the point I'm trying to make. Now these people are getting due process. They're not just taking them out of the country. They're giving them due process. So you're thinking that the Constitution is not working. It is working. That 14th Amendment, which deals with due process, is working because the Supreme Court told them. The Supreme Court said you cannot just deport people. Look at the guy from Maryland.
Kenneth, what was this case based on? What was the case based on? What was the ruling yesterday based on? Which case?
It was based on the nationwide injunction.
Issued by who?
By a district court judge.
Where?
I don't know where it was from.
Well, I'm about to tell you. Washington State. Issued by a district court justice in Washington State. Issued by a district court judge who was appointed by Reagan. And his exact words were, when he issued the injustice, this is textbook unconstitutional. The fact that you would bring this case, this is what he said in court, the fact that anybody would bring this case into my courtroom is unconscionable, is what he said. Unconscionable. He's like, this is, he asked them, this is not even law 101, is what he said. This is so racially biased that it is demonstrable. Wait a minute. You do this shit all the time. No.
You're saying, but you're still not refuting what I'm saying.
I am proving to you that they don't care about the amendment.
But you're still not refuting what I'm saying.
You're saying that it's not that what you're saying is this. Tell me if I'm correct. You're saying that what they're doing is the amendment is still holding, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And I'm saying that maybe it's holding. Maybe you can make the argument it's holding, but they are not running the country based on amendments. So when you say he brought back Garcia last week, right? They brought him back last week. Brought him last week. He is now in Tennessee. Omar, whatever his name is. He is now in Tennessee. All right. He is in Tennessee based on a charge 5 years ago of him getting pulled over with some other people in the car who he said was his friend. They said he was committing human trafficking. That's what they're bringing him back on, which is basically not the due process because he didn't get picked up. That's not what they put him out of the country for. They put him out of the country for something that happened in Maryland. So really his due process has already been damaged, which is unconstitutional. So what they're going to do, which is, I'm trying to stay on point here because we keep jumping off on tangents. What I'm asking you is, because we started this off about the mayor of New York. So I'm gonna try to bring it back there.
I don't give a shit about that. Let's talk about this. This is something that affects all of us.
They do not care about that is, hey, Ms. Liscombe.
Judy.
Unfortunately, they do not care about the amendment. So what I'm trying to say to you, without you getting so fucking upset with me, is that
because you don't
they
listen.
like you said, they don't care. So then I ask you, okay, well, if they don't care, wait. If I agree with you that they don't care, you and I agree. Do we agree on that? They don't care. They don't care, right? We both said they don't care, right? You agree with that? Don't just look at me. Say yes or no.
Yeah, motherfucker, let's go. Let's go. Come on.
Then what's the strategy? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
See, this is the thing. What all of you are failing to miss. I don't know why. Am I speaking in Greek that y'all don't understand what I'm saying? Let me say it in English. Again, what they did, Supreme Court did yesterday, was say that they could,
Go ahead.
They said that a district court judge could not issue a nationwide injunction. They did not say that Trump had the right to suspend or get rid of birthright citizenship. They did not say that. That's why I say the 14th Amendment still holds in place. It's still in place. They still can't do it. Now, what they're going to do, as I said, I'm saying it in English this time because y'all didn't understand when I said it in Greek. What they're going to do is go to every district court and get an injunction. Every place that there's an injunction, the Trump administration cannot deport somebody who's a citizen. They can't do it. Now, the only problem is this. Mom and daddy, who's not a citizen, because what they're going after is the children. They want to be, because people are saying you can't deport a family, a mother and father, and they have a child that's an American citizen. They call those, they used to call those, or I guess they still call them anchor babies. You ever heard that term before? Okay. I need you to say yes, not nod your head.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. So, what they're trying to do is get rid of that barrier that says you cannot deport mommy and daddy if baby is a citizen, if the child is a citizen. That's what they're trying to do. That's literally what they're trying to do. So there won't be any backlash for them deporting the whole family. That's what this is about. Once again, every place where there's a district court, they're going to file an injunction. That's all this did. It said you cannot impose a nationwide injunction. The 14th Amendment is still in place. It hasn't gone anywhere.
We didn't say that.
Y'all are saying that.
No,
and y'all, what you're saying is, well, they don't care about the rules. And which we know they don't. But when that injunction is in place, why do you think, if let's say this, if they didn't care about the rules, why did they go to court to get that injunction lifted? Go straight to Supreme Court to get that injunction lifted.
I can tell you
if they don't care about the rules.
I can tell you
so
why.
What?
Because
why?
I can tell you why. Because they hadn't tilled the ground enough to make it okay. They hadn't tilled the ground enough to make it okay. They did that because they're tilling the ground to make it okay. What the Supreme Court did do yesterday, which is why you don't have to take my word for it, bro. You got two goddamn dissenting arguments that people are saying are unprecedented dissenting opinions. Ketanji wrote a dissenting opinion. Okay,
I'm not saying. I'm not going against what they said. What I'm saying is, the point I'm trying to make is this: they ruled on the injunction part. We know it leads to a slippery slope. What it's doing is just making it more difficult to get this done.
Bro, I just don't
get the injunction. That's all it's doing.
Let me say this to you. I just don't get where y'all at mentally. Like, I don't get how
you know where I'm at mentally. You know where I'm at mentally.
Wait.
This is the thing.
Go ahead. I don't get where y'all are mentally.
This is where I'm at mentally.
I'm talking about educated Black people, not people. I'm talking about the people who supposed to know better. Like, they keep doing what they're doing, and y'all keep acting like they're not doing it. Y'all get two Supreme Court justices who say this is what they're doing.
Nobody said they ain't doing it. I didn't say that.
Then, okay, so what's the fucking strategy? So if they're doing it, and we know they're doing
you give me a damn strategy. Give me no, Leonard, no.
I did.
Do not say we need to give you a strategy when the only thing you coming up with is a 1950s model for 2025 problem.
That's not.
That's the only thing you presented.
No,
that is the only thing you presented.
No, it's not. Maybe
what else have you said?
What I said was it has to be. It has obviously not. Again, it has to be a multi-pronged strategy. You got to start.
I said that the whole time. I'm not. Hold up. You trying to tell me that I haven't said that?
Right. You got to make up your mind. Yeah, I didn't ask you what you said.
No, Leonard, I have said one of the things I have said. I said I've always said.
But we're not talking about what you said. We're not talking about what you said.
Something I've always said.
Bro, I need to come at this from all fronts.
I've always said that.
I don't want to talk over you. I don't want to talk.
Shut up then. Let me talk.
Okay, no problem. I'm gonna be quiet. Go for it.
I have always said we need a multi-pronged solution to these problems. I said, and I've been saying it, and I've always said it doesn't make a difference what road you take as long as we get to the same place. I've always said that.
Okay. So what are they?
I've always said that. So it's not something I've never. Let's say this. I'm not saying that mass protest by itself is not working. I've always said. I don't say don't go out there. I've never said don't go out there.
We agree.
I just said that's not going to work by itself.
We agree.
So let's come at it from different points, from different angles. Let's do economic boycott. Let's do voting. Let's do a whole bunch of shit. Whatever you come up with that day, goddamn it, do it. That's what I'm saying. That's what we need to do. I don't think it should be an either or. I think it should be an all-encompassing thing. And I also believe, I have belief that I believe in the court system. I believe in it. I just don't believe in them 6 motherfuckers that's in the Supreme Court now. Them the motherfuckers I don't believe in. I believe in the court system. Because let's be real. Other than them 6 motherfuckers, let's be real. Other than them 6 motherfuckers that's in the Supreme Court who ain't shit. Every other judge in this goddamn country, or damn near every other judge in this country, has been against them. They're the only ones that's fucking up. All the other judges are doing what they do. No, you can't do this shit. Even judges that he appointed are saying you can't do this shit. So I don't have faith I have faith in the court system. I don't have faith in them motherfuckers. I have faith in the court system. That's what I got. And I'm gonna tell you this. And I want you to remember this shit. This shit gonna come back on them motherfuckers hard. Every person involved in this shit, it's gonna come back on them hard. And it ain't gonna take long. I'm telling you, it's not going to take long. Every single one of these motherfuckers are going to regret this shit.
Okay. I got 5 minutes. You finished?
You going to take up the whole 5?
Yes. I'm going to take up the last 5.
Oh, that ain't that a bitch.
I really got quiet to let you people. Yes, I'm going to take up the whole 5. Yeah. I'm going to take up the whole 5. Because I'm going to bring it back to what we started on. On Tuesday, you had a breakthrough. You had a breakthrough with this progressive 35-year-old young Democrat. I don't care if the voter turnout was low. And what we're watching in real time right now is the establishment Democrats. And I heard Michael Steele say this the other day, and I'm always like, Michael Steele, you're one of the reasons why we are where we are. So I don't know why everybody's giving you a pass, but hey, everybody has a right to give Michael Steele a pass. You know, so what? He's the first black president. I'm the first black head of the RNC. Never forget that. Never forgive him for saying that. You had a person win with this message that they said he couldn't win, who was at 1% in January. 1% of support in January. That's where he was. And from 1%, he jumped up to 46%. Talking about issues that obviously resonate with his base and the base of the party. And the question becomes, where do we, as people over 50, call our reps who are over 50 to say, sit your ass down and shut up. Get behind this, because what y'all have been doing has not worked. We can all agree on that. Whatever it is that y'all been doing, y'all been losing. And they're going to go back. We won in 2020. And we're going to go, yeah, that was an off year with COVID. But you haven't done anything about election security in the sense of, hey, did they cheat us out of our vote? You won't say anything about that. You refuse to even talk about that. You refuse to tell the big business interests who back you, hey, man, look, you ain't but like 15 families. I got 1 million folks out here that's suffering. So y'all might have to eat some dirt, but it ain't going to change your life in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It's not. It's not going to change your life in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And I've said this many times before, and I'm sitting here watching in the city of Atlanta right now. If you ain't fighting, I ain't voting for you. If you ain't up there saying, hey, this is the fight we're in right now, and I don't know what you see, but I can't see it. And if you can't explain it to me, like Hakeem Jeffries, all I ask is, bro, explain it to us. Or find somebody that can. You know, you're in a safe district, but you're not down here. You're in a safe New York district, but you that safe New York district, you couldn't get Jamal Bowman over the line. Maybe you didn't want to. But you take this victory that people see as some hope and you expand on that victory. You don't diminish it, which is what I think. When I say they don't give endorsement, it diminishes his victory. You go out there and you push it. Hey, man, we didn't think this could get done, and he got it done. What about this what lessons can we take? So anyway, it's 10:58. I didn't take up all the 5 minutes. Go ahead. You got 2.
Look at Gore stepping in at the right time. Listen, okay, y'all. If you don't have any faith in any of the institutions, any of the governmental institutions, the court, the legislative, the judicial, or the executive branch, why even bother to vote? If you don't have faith in none of them, why even bother to get out there and protest? You got to have faith in something, y'all. Seriously, you got to have faith in something. You got to have faith in something.
I think you're missing the point. I think we're saying
I'm not missing the point.
Well, you are. Because I'm gonna tell you what.
Because y'all keep saying, "Well, he keep doing it. Ain't nobody going." You basically what you're saying is, "Can't nobody stop him."
What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is something I've said for a while, and I've heard Rachel Maddow say it for a long time. When you have people fighting on your behalf, those people have to know you have their support, because you can't ask them to fight on an island. So if you have a judge, like prime example, here's a prime example of an example happening right now. The parliamentarian, right? The parliamentarian, the young girl is the parliamentarian. Was she 41, 42? Right? The parliamentarian for Congress, for the Senate, to say, hey, look, you can't keep this in here because according to the rules, this is this. Nonpartisan. Every parliamentarian has done it. And now they're doing this public campaign that we know what happens. They dox her, put her number out, blah, blah. There has to be enough of us saying, nah, y'all not about to intimidate her. We got her back. Y'all show up at our house, you're going to get your asses whooped. You keep calling, we're going to find your phone numbers, we're going to call you too. All the pressure you bring to her, we're going to bring to you. We're not going to let you just get off with no skin in the game, scare this girl and this woman into not doing her job. She's just doing her job based on the rules that are in place right now. And now what you're going to do is you're going to start threatening her physically, her family. Okay, Mike Johnson, we're going to do the same thing to your ass. Okay, Chip Roy, we're going to do the same thing to your ass. Okay, so-and-so, we're going to do the same thing to your ass. 77 million of us going to do to you what you doing to us. And we're going to show up at your fucking house too, like you showing up at our house. We're going to come in up with AK-47. Well,
Leonard, hold on. Time out.
Go ahead.
In the climate that we're in, when those politicians in Minnesota just got killed, saying we're going to show up at your house like that, dude, you actually get locked the fuck up.
I'm not trying. No. I'm saying
see, the thing is, this is the thing.
I'll change my language.
This is the thing. This is the thing. What you're saying, what we need to do is we need to have her back. Cool. We just ain't got to announce the shit.
Okay, no problem. I got you. I shouldn't have said that.
Because announcing it means premeditation. Premeditation is prison time.
What I'm saying is this. You're right. You're 100% right. So I won't do that. I'll take that back. What I am saying is this. They don't care about that. They don't care. When you have somebody like her sitting out there on an island by herself, and she's not sure whether it's you support her with money, whether you support her because Mike Johnson doesn't care that they're going to do that to her. He doesn't care. This is why he gets out there and says that stuff, because he knows it works. He knows that intimidating her like that works. He knows what
back down.
Not yet, but it's only been a day. It's only been a day. It's like Robert Williams was saying, and Robert was saying in the book, Negroes with Guns. If you don't show them that you're willing to protect her. Rachel Maddow said that. I remember the judge for the Trump trial in New York, right? Remember him?
Yeah.
And they kept going after his daughter. Like they were literally going after his daughter violently. Literally. She was like, people are calling my house. People are running by my house. I remember the conservative guy out of Phoenix, Arizona. Remember him when he certified the 2020 election? And those people were at his house and his daughter was in there dying of cancer. And they were at his house with bullhorns. And he's like, man, I got a daughter in here. She's on her last leg. I just followed the Constitution. All I did was follow the Constitution. And, with the stuff that happened in Minnesota, that's not us doing that.
I know it's not us.
That's not our side.
But if something happens to any people doing that, they're gonna blame us. Like they tried to blame the Minnesota thing on us. It had nothing to do with it. It was a white guy who was a Trump supporter who went in and killed those people. Period.
Right. So I don't know.
And they do changing that. Oh, he was appointed to a board by Governor Walz. What does that have to do with anything? This
is what I say to you all the time, because I think what you said earlier was right. You got to be real careful about what we say. I think you're absolutely right. I jumped the gun, no problem. But this is what I say to you. I guess the conversation that I always have to have is, if we're saying we're just going to sacrifice that's just something we have to take, then I think this just to be an honest conversation. Hey man, look, there's probably going to be people on out. We can't never ever go that route, but understand that people on their side will go that route. And the chance we have to take is that there may be some collateral damage on our side, that they're going to do this stuff. They're going to threaten to kidnap the governor of Michigan. They're going to go to Democratic officers' houses and shoot them and their husbands. That's just what they're going to do. And they're going to have somebody like Mike Lee out of Utah who made that gross joke about those people getting killed. Mm-hmm. Remember that he made this gross joke on Twitter about them people getting killed in Minnesota. And if that's what we're going to say, I've said this to you all the time, okay, shit, at least I know that's what we're going to do. We're just going to say, hey, man, you know what? There's going to have to be some sacrifice on our part to get the country back to where it's going. We're never going to go this route. Cool. We agreed as a group that we're never going to go this route. We're never going to, we could protect ourselves, but there'll never be any offensive. I'm cool with that too, because I'm not trying to see anybody killed. I don't want Mike Johnson hurt. I wish Mike Johnson felt that way about us. I wish Mike Johnson felt that way about us. I wish Mike Lee felt that way about us. And I'm talking about Democrats. I wish Donald Trump felt that way about us. We aren't walking around saying that Donald Trump hates the country and they're unpatriotic. We're not doing that. So if the thing is,
they should be saying that right there, that's within bounds. We know he hates the country. We know that, and that is within bounds. There's nothing illegal about saying that. Nothing illegal, immoral, or wrong about saying that.
There's a reason. But the reason we don't say that is what you said earlier when you corrected me.
No.
Hear me out.
That's two totally different things.
Hear me out. The reason I think we don't say that is because we understand what a slippery slope it is. Because we understand. No, you don't think so? What do you think?
Because one, what you said earlier is totally different than what you're saying now. Saying that Trump is unpatriotic, that hates America. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the truth. That is the truth. But saying, if you come around us, we're going to take care of you or do it, that is a threat. That could be considered a threat. Technically it can.
It can be, even though I haven't called anybody's name. I said what I did say. But Kenneth,
Yeah. Well, if it takes place, let's say this: if it takes place, it can be considered a threat. And if you don't consult your lawyer on that one, you know which one I'm talking about. I ain't gonna say no names, but consult your lawyer about that.
Let me ask you this,
because I'm sure he's looking right now.
No, he's not. He's not on the show today. Let me ask you this. So we have a man at the top who has literally encouraged violence against people who don't think the way he thinks. Literally have a man at the top who literally has even after those 2 lawmakers were killed in Minnesota, his response on Air Force One was, will you call Tim Walsh? Why should I call Tim Walsh? I'm not calling him. For what?
That ain't got nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
What the point I'm trying to make is this.
I don't know.
No, what I'm saying is this. Calling him unpatriotic and un-American and all that other stuff, whatever you said you wanted to do, whatever you said, is totally different. Calling him unpatriotic is totally different than saying, "Hey, what you think about doing that to us, we're gonna do to you," and all that. That's 2 totally different things. One is just saying, calling a man, calling a spade, calling a fool, saying what it is. He is unpatriotic, all of that stuff. He hates Americans. He does. We know he does. There's nothing illegal, immoral, improper, or anything about that. People don't say it because of the office of because he's the president. Because they want to respect the office of the president. My thing is, he doesn't respect the office of the president. So why should I? He doesn't respect the people. So why should I respect him? One is just calling somebody out for who they are. The other one is it could be misconstrued as being inciting violence. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay, I think that's a valid point, but I would push back on it, and we were over time. I would push back on it to say this. This is what I've always believed about Donald Trump. I still believe this about Donald Trump. I don't think Donald Trump really cares about some of the stuff that we're talking about. I really don't.
Oh, no, you don't.
I don't. I've never felt that Donald Trump. Do I think he likes certain groups? I don't even know if he really feels that way. I think Donald Trump is all about Donald Trump. He's going to do whatever he has to do, and I think those people around him know that. He's going to do whatever he has to do in order to get. It's all transactional to him. I just feel like that. Now, does he get mad and does he lash out? Yeah. Did he lash out on January 6th? Yeah. We're going to march right down to the Capitol and do this. He knew what that would do. I mean, he knew, he says, I didn't think that was going to incite violence. But, there's enough evidence to realize that he sat there and watched the violence taking place and he wasn't going to do anything about it. So when you say that Donald Trump says people are unpatriotic and hate the country, I say, like everybody else, that's a dog whistle. And the dog whistle has its consequences. And the dog whistle has its consequences in what happened up in Minnesota. And dog whistle has its consequences in what they did to the state speaker of the House in Arizona. It has consequences. And people are only going to let you do, or people only do what you let them do. And they have now proven that they think that Democrats will not do anything but talk. Now, I think the LA protests have changed some of that. You don't think it's made a difference. I do. And I think it's short of doing what you just said, Leonard, don't do that earlier. The only other option you have is bodies. I've always believed that. I don't like the option because I don't think anybody wants to go out there and do that. I really don't think anybody wants to go out there and risk their lives or their bodies. Nobody wants to do that. Hell, I don't.
Well, there are other options. We've been talking about economic boycott for 3-4 years.
Yeah, I don't
fully done that yet.
Well, here's the thing. I think because we get off on these tangents because we get into these.
No, you get off on a tangent. I'm still the same person. Still saying the same thing.
I think that even with the economic boycott of Target, which I think worked. Target breaks off somebody, and it we are such a fragile group, and I'm not talking about black, I'm talking about Democrats, period, that they know all they gotta do is have one break in the case to shut down whatever the effective strategy was. And hell, speaking of Democrat, this is a tangent. Would you run for state? Would you run for state rep in Minnesota right now, knowing that hey, there might be another dude out there like him that's a lone wolf that has 13 people on his list? Was it 13 or 30?
30.
And
actually, one of them was one of my cousins.
Do you think that he wasn't talking to other people that might have the same agenda? Because look, you had 10 men in Minnesota and Michigan that was going to kidnap the governor. 10.
Well, let's say this.
Wait. Can I say one other thing? Something you pointed out something you pointed out back in June. I want to say something. You know that they are super comfortable with us following the rules because you said this a while ago. You said you don't see any Palestinian activists going to Republican Donald Trump rallies. You remember saying that?
No.
Wait, Kenneth, you were talking about what response they would get if they went to Donald Trump rallies and start screaming out. You don't remember talking about that? What would happen to them if they went to a Donald Trump rally?
I know they would get their ass kicked. We know that.
And what we were talking about is, but you come to Democratic rallies. Why do you come to Democratic rallies? Because you know we're gonna act.
We don't. Right. Well, see, my thing is this. Then getting back to your question you had a couple of minutes ago. If I were in Minnesota, I would run for political office in Minnesota, mainly because now I know at what depths you go to stop stuff, to get, whatever. I know what links you'll go. So I'm prepared. I'd be prepared. They snuck up on them and got away with it one time. They ain't gonna sneak up on nobody anymore. That's not gonna happen anymore. Huh?
How would you? I'm just curious. How would you prepare yourself for something like that?
Shit, I'd be strapped. The hell you talking about? The hell you talking about? I'd be strapped everywhere I went.
So you would be willing. You would be willing.
And I would also, if I was to have a campaign, I would actually have the campaign pay for protection.
So let me ask you something. If it's called political violence on one end, is it called political self-defense on the other?
It's called self-preservation on the other. Dude, hey, it's called self-preservation. Hell, you don't have to be. Let's be real. Let's be real, Leonard. You don't have to run for political office to be for somebody to nephew. I told him something, and I shouldn't say this on air, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Look, I already got yourself enough trouble.
No, ain't nothing illegal. No, ain't nothing illegal. It was saying, I used to say years ago when I was a cop, I never left my house without my partner. And by partner, I mean my gun when I was a cop.
Right.
I never went past my mailbox without it. As soon as I stopped being a cop, I stopped carrying it. Don't know why. In my mind, I don't need to anymore. I'm not a cop anymore. And I told nephews that. I said that to him. He was like, shit, I go everywhere with mine. These fools out here crazy. And I thought about it. I was like, damn, do I think I'm bulletproof now that I'm not a cop? Do I think somebody won't? Because when I was a cop, nobody knew I was a cop. Unless I was in uniform, you could never tell that I was a police officer. You would never. People who know me for years didn't know I was a police officer. So why would I stop carrying one after I stopped being a cop? I'm not bulletproof. The same people who would have tried to jump me or try to rob me when I was a cop would try to do it now. So if I'm running for office, I'm going to be ready. Mentally, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready to defend myself.
It's called political self-defense.
Political self-preservation.
Okay, so the answer to political
basically self-preservation, period. Because it ain't got nothing to do with politics.
Well, since you jumped on my case about the words that I use, I'm gonna come up with a new word. So the answer to political violence is political self-preservation.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That is legal. This is an open carry. This is an open carry state. So I can carry my gun damn near everywhere I want to go.
I agree.
And I think Minnesota's the same thing. If I were a politician in Minnesota, seriously, or any country like any state like that, I would definitely carry. If I were a political figure, I would definitely be carrying. I wouldn't hesitate to use it.
I think that we have gotten to a point where they're willing to use the threat of political violence cloaked in words to intimidate people, knowing what they're doing. And I feel really bad for the parliamentarian right now at the Senate, because I imagine she just came to do her job, but they know that doxing works. The president knows that doxing works. The president's sycophants know that doxing works. They put her name and they put her picture out all over the internet, knowing that it's going to be enough people that's going to call her, as Cassidy Hutchinson said, and make your life miserable. Just like those two black women who just were doing their jobs at the elections, like they just made my life miserable. You know, they called my house, they drove by my house, they showed up at my house, and I would think that the playbook is the same. That now that, and matter of fact, it's gotten worse, because now that you know that they will carry out their threats, as his last text to his business partner said, "Hey man, I apologize." What did the guy from Minnesota? I think his last threat to his business partner, text his business partner, "I apologize about what's to happen. You'll probably see my name in the paper tomorrow." And they know that there's enough people to scare people. They know they have enough agents on board who feel the way they feel, that they can go up and just whoop a like last week. And we're gonna get off the show, y'all. The guy has 4 Marine sons, four Marine sons who served in the military, 4 Marines, and y'all beat his daddy like he a dog while he's at work. Y'all separate his shoulder, beat him on the ground, didn't care. These are people that are supposed to be working for us. Y'all jumping out of cars.
Oh, you know something? Hold on. There's something else going along with what you just said. Something I saw, and that kind of makes sense. They had this new provision that I think Homeland Security came out with, that's saying that they can give people powers of ICE that are not bounty hunters, basically.
Right.
Which is one of the things that they're saying the reason why they're wearing masks, because and the people are hiding. Because I saw a video of a lady who confronted these men came to take an employee of I think it was a auto mechanic shop or something like that. And she was like, "Show me your badge." He said, "It's right here." She said, "No, I can't see it. What does it say? Show me your badge. Show me your warrant that you have for his arrest."
Right.
All this stuff. She confronted him, and she was on camera live when she was doing it. And what that did, she was saying and she said they were not ICE agents.
They were not ICE agents.
They were not ICE agents. They were bounty hunters. And you can tell who they are, one, by the badge, because the badge will say Homeland Security. It will have Homeland Security. A bounty hunter's badge will say something totally different. It will not say Homeland Security on there and have I think it has ICE in the middle. It will not say that. Won't say it at all. And because she confronted them, they backed down. They left. And she recorded everything. What we need to do is stop and those people who arrested this guy. And I think there's another thing too. If they're ICE agents, their vest will say ICE on it. It will have ICE on it on the back.
No, see,
something on there.
I think you could go back to the test case, like Harry said. Now I gotta get off. The test case for what they're doing right now was during his first administration, and you remember this real well. During his first administration, when the BLM movements hit DC, and he brought in all those people. He brought in all those people, and they didn't have to wear any identification. You know, all these people.
There were people jumping out of vans, kidnapping people off the street.
Right. We had no identification.
And nobody knew who they were or where they came from, or anything like that. And see, that's the same thing what he's doing now.
Right. And they realized that it worked because there was nothing to fight to get back against it. They realized, so now they're just doing it in mass droves. But anyway, man, it's 11:23. So experience the show.
Oh, when you got somewhere to go now, you want to get off. When I got somewhere to go, you hold me on here. Anyway, hey y'all, listen. I want y'all to do me one favor, y'all. Do me one favor.
That one person.
My it's more than one person on here. Anyway, my kids are on their way out the country right now. Kenny and his mom, Kenny and Felicia, are going to Angola. Shantae is on her way to India. So y'all do me a favor, and I'm worried about him. I really am worried because Trump and his bullshit that he started all around the world. I'm just worried about my family and their traveling and all that. Say a prayer for them, dog. Do that for me, y'all, please. Because I really and truly I'm worried about. Because I really and truly don't trust the Trump administration. So if I come on Facebook Live and ask for y'all help in trying to get, trying something with State Department shit, I need y'all to stop making phone calls for me. Because I really and truly, I'm worried about international travel right now. I really am. Other than going to the Caribbean. I'm gonna pray for you. Now you're gonna have me worried. I'm gonna tell you a story right after the election. So I have a corporate account with U-Haul, and the guy that we just walk up, and we've been dealing with them for a while. So we literally just walk up, and they know we come, and they hand us the keys, whatever. And the guy that does that is a Hispanic guy. So right after the election, he was telling me, "Hey man, I'm about to take a trip to Mexico." I said, "Who?" He said, "Me and my family." And I said to him, "Don't you goddamn go out the country right now. Don't. Keep your ass right where you at." He's like, no, they're not going to do it. I said, let me tell you this again. You nor anybody in your family needs to go anywhere near that border. Period. He came up to me, Kenneth. I think I see him all the time, but he came up to me like 45 days later and he says, Leonard, I'm so glad you gave me that advice. Because it started happening. I said, bro, don't go nowhere near the border. Because he's like, I got my papers. I said, bro, they don't care. They don't care if you got your papers. If you go across that border, you're not coming back in. And I feel that way about people. I feel that way. I'm scared for them too, because I feel like they're going to give them hell to come back in. That's just what they're going to do, because it's all about inciting fear. I am. I'm really. Hey, Debbie. So yeah. Anyway. That I'm telling you, it's so that fear is so bad. I didn't even sleep last night, man. I really couldn't even sleep last night. I'm tired now because I could not rest. My mind was just racing with, okay, if this happens, that happens, all this. Dude, this is the wrong time to be going anywhere other than the Caribbean. If you want to go out the country, I'm telling you, that's the only safe place in the damn world.
Wait, because he hadn't cut any deals with the Caribbean nation shit.
Right, he's coming. No problem. And you know what's funny? You know what's funny? I was saying to myself, I said, man, he's deporting people all over the world. I said, how come he ain't deporting none of them to the Caribbean? He's
not trying to give them any money. He just ain't cut those deals. when he cut a deal with Jamaica, some of y'all ain't coming back from y'all Jamaica trips. Y'all just don't know. When he cut that deal with Jamaica, he be like, I'm gonna give you $50 million if you just delay them. Just delay them at the airport. Mr. Lively, let me check your bag. What's this? This toothpaste, Mr. Lively? You go back to that room. Look.
Yeah, bro, shoot. I'm sure we on somebody's list by now. As much shit as you talk, I'm sure you done got me put on somebody's list. As much shit as you talk. But anyway, y'all, hey, thank you for tuning in.
You're sorry. You're sorry.
As always.
Sorry, dude. You are sorry. You just throw me under the bus. You are one sorry dude. Better. Wait. What you say, kid? Better for you to be trying to get me out than me trying to get you out, right?
You started this shit. Now I'm caught of it. I was so under the radar with my shit. Now you done got us so messed up, man. My internet is glitching and stuff. That's on you, man. That's your fault.
Okay.
It's your fault.
Okay, so
you and your rhetoric, you and your radical leftist rhetoric.
See, that's not fair. I hate it when you do that. I'm not radical.
You and your radical leftist agenda and rhetoric. You have gotten me to the point where my internet don't even work right. I'm just saying. And this thing, I noticed something the other day. My internet, when I was on Facebook, I got this thing that pop up talking about, do you want to boost your profile? Hell no, I don't want to boost my damn profile. I'm good where I'm at. I don't need nobody else to know what I'm saying.
All right, I'm gonna
all of a sudden they trying to promote me. No, you ain't gonna promote me.
Hey, look, from now, when I come home, I'm just gonna read books like this. Okay.
Go dog.
Whenever you have a comment, I'm gonna go, hey, go dog, go. Dog. Big dog, little dog. That's what I'm gonna do from now on. Okay. All right, Kenneth. Let me get out of here.
Hey, y'all have a good week. We'll see y'all next week. Dude.
Chump. Just threw me under the train.
Hell yeah. So self-preservation.